Everyone in this room should have noticed the fact that the Chinese president on his current trip went to the Caribbean first and then to the United States. Our next speaker, who played an important part in the development of this forum, do not be surprised that on his next trip to the Caribbean, if you see her by his side advising him on investments, Chinese investments in the Caribbean. Ms. Lily serves as the Managing Director of the Chinese American Business Development Center and is a council member representing small to medium businesses at the Business Development Council for American Enterprises in China. It is my pleasure to introduce Lily.
Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, good morning. My corporation is really in the past 20 years, we have been working with the private sectors, government sectors, that to work closely for the investment and also business cooperation between the U.S. and China. And now it is a perfect timing that we work with the officials and the private sectors from the islands and the Caribbean region, because America is not far from you, and our investors who have already established business, we can extend their opportunities to the islands. And hopefully today's my information sharing with you about the China and the Chinese investors looking into their foreign investment will be very helpful for you. And I have a PowerPoint. The reason is Felicia asked me to do this presentation. And by the way, I especially want to thank the president of the Sino-American Friendship Association who put us together today, meeting with everyone. And I would like to introduce Peter Jiang, and he's the president. And it is really a perfect timing because Arthur just mentioned that the president of China, Xi Jinping, just visited the Caribbean. And now is the time that we can introduce more to you. And the slide is right on the board here. I'm still trying to learn this technology. How do I forward this? If you don't mind, thank you. Let me just give you a very brief background that you may not know that how Chinese and when Chinese started moving into the islands. And actually I was told that between 1853 and already have 14,000 Chinese starting living on the islands and in the Caribbean region. And you won't be surprised that I am not surprised that if someone looked like Jamaican and who happened to have a Chinese last name. And I'm sure there is a gentleman that I met last night whose last name is Chang. I remember that correctly. And if you're still here, and you can stand up and let everybody know that you have the Jamaican looking, but the Chinese descent as well. Oh, here you are. Can you imagine? This is a proof. And so since we have been in the area for that long, and in the recent years, that it shows you the China trade with Latin American and the Caribbean already reached 261 billion in 2002. And you may wonder how much is the trade volume in the Caribbean islands, and that is $9 billion. And also, as we just heard that China President Xi Jinping visits the area, and he generally offered concessionary loans to the 9 Caribbean countries for about $3 billion as well. First of all, I would like to just mention about the sport, entertainment, and education, and this is really my passion. In 2012, in April, that obviously you see this beautiful arena that's already been built with, how much was that? $35 million and opened in the Bahamas already. And $80 million sport arena in Jamaica and for the schools. And Chinese people are very familiar about the Jamaican athletes, and probably that's one of the reasons that we established in the sport here. Education. We are New York-based, and we work closely with American institutions, and also we established over 17 Chinese cultural centers among this greater New York area. And also now is the time for us to help not only the American institutions, but also the Chinese institutions going forward to work closely with the people locally here, over there in the area as well. And Mr. Lu just mentioned that over 1,000 scholarship every year with China granted to the students over there, especially for their low income, and to welcome to China to study and learn each other's culture. And now tourism. Here we go. Chinese travels to everywhere, and from Malta Island to Europe, Malta, and to Hawaii, and now there are more and more Chinese traveling by airplane and the cruises to the Caribbean islands. And I was told last night that many Chinese comes to the island, but I'm pretty positive those are the Chinese from the America. And now it is the time for all of us work together to introduce the Chinese from China to visit. The reason, I will show you the data, and you'll be amazed. And here is a resort, and how much did the Chinese government spend? You will see that the resort is about 3,800 rooms, and it's about $3.4 billion, and this is only in one area, and this is a government investment as well. And I will talk to you a little bit more on the private sectors, and you will see that in this one, yes. So you see that in 2005, the numbers of visitors overseas from China is less than 50 million. And up to 2012, about 85 million people from China visited overseas. And let's say if we only get 1% of this 85 million, and how many people will be visiting Caribbean? And I'm sure your officials and the your investment bankings will be building a lot more resorts and hotels to welcome them. And my new friends from the Royal Caribbean Cruises will not be surprised, and you'll be ready to fill up all the ships to welcome them arrive to different islands as well. And the increase will be continuous steady, about 20% as well. And for the export and the import, here. China's the fastest growing goods trading relations over the past 5 years with the region. And between the Latin American, overall export and import has been growing twice as fast as since 2005. And China's bilateral trade with the region already over 100 billion marked in 2007, and over 100 billion in the current years. And I just mentioned about $9 billion for the Caribbean island. The new data that I just received from Mr. Liu, he just mentioned to me that about $930 million in the construction investment contracts has been signed since 2012. And here is the data that you will see that the Caribbean islands, the number is relatively small, but if you look at this chart, here we go. The orange one keep increasing. That's representing China. It's this one, and then this one is the Japan. So you will obviously see Japan has been, the trade is continuing decrease, but China is a rising star that's on the island. And here is the import portion, and also again this is the orange one for the China, represent China, and this the blue one is the Japan. And from the private sector, I was asked Chinese government has been investing so much in the area. And what about the private sectors? Are they really interested in the Caribbean island since it's relatively small compared to the U.S.? And I would say yes. The reason is, tourism is the very big industry for Chinese and also the Caribbean. And also the real estate development, that is really the big habit for China, for Chinese investors. And they have been heavily investing in Europe and the US. And now with these beautiful beaches and also the beautiful people, and I was told that they are definitely looking into this and to build more hotels to welcome everyone from across the world. And why Caribbean? In this morning, this part is my easy job, because you already heard a lot that's from the officials, and I would say that's definitely ideal locations. It's so easy to access from U.S., Europe, and also the Asia, and also accessibilities as well. And of course, this the staffs and also the skilled labor, definitely with a high education, and the people speak English, Spanish, French, and Dutch. And we were discussing about establishing the education on the island, and offered the people over there to start learning Chinese. And I'm sure one day that you will see many Jamaican looking with a Chinese last name can speak Chinese as well. And the diverse investment opportunity, definitely. And I would just, because I was asked, I only have 3 minutes to talk, so there are a lot of information to fill in, so I will just provide you some key facts on this. And you see, China has become the second largest economy in the world, and China has the highest amount of foreign reserve, more than the total of Japan, Russia, and Saudi Arabia combined. And the total amount of the FDI China made in 2010 was higher than the World Bank did worldwide. And Chinese government are investing $7 billion in 2009 alone, and the Caribbean since 2012 was $9 billion. And also China Export-Import Bank to launch about $1 billion surging funds to invest in the Latin America, including the Caribbean. And also, according to the Boston Consulting Group, they predict the value of the Chinese outbound travel will be $590 billion by 2012. So I would say that our Minister of the Finance, who mentioned to me last night that he is the man to generate the money, and now you will see with the tourists from China and the investors from China, you'll be very happy to, and you will be very busy to generate the revenues for the country and also to help to support other regions as well. And last night I will say, I was told that should we work together? And now with those numbers, and obviously you say, I would like to say let's work together. And if we can be very helpful to you guys, and if you have any question, I will be happy to talk to you all after this panel, because I'm sure that others already start giving me the signs, and to give the rest of the room to continue this. Thank you very much.